Hello and welcome back everyone. How you all doing? For today's video, I think I'm just gonna let the first clip play so you can see what we're cooking with, and then I will proceed to explain the full build and do the showcase as always. So yeah, let's just take a look. For those of you that have already watched my spin to win build, I think you're gonna love this one. And for those who didn't yet, I will leave a link in the description below in case you wanna check it out. But long story short, this is so fun. It's so stupid. First 4 buttons, one-shot people with conditions from a distance with your birds. Also, like most of the builds I make, it comes with a few versions and it's really easy to adapt to your own preferences. Plus, the best part is, in this one, even if you were to miss the combo because they block it or they dodge it or whatever the reason, you still have in your hands a really strong, solid and reliable full Condi build. So, the big idea behind this build was just to make Hunter's Call apply not only vulnerability, but also massive stacks of lead thanks to sharpening stones, and massive stacks of poison thanks to bolter stands. How we do that? Well, it's very simple honestly. You just proc Call of the Wild if you have it available to have more might so you deal more damage. Prepare your 2 buttons here and send the birds. Simple, right? And then you see all the bleeds and all the poison, all the vulnerability, and those extra conditions comes from this first version of the build thanks to Relic of the Fractal. Because when we inflict bleeding on an opponent with 6 or more stacks of bleeding, it also applies Burning and Torment, which is more Condi damage for the sake of the memes. But anyways, like I said before guys, don't worry too much even if you miss the combo, because in this build you have many sources of Condi and Bleed appliance. For example, you got Primal Cry every 20 seconds, which aligns with Relic of the Fractal. You have Dagger number 2, you've got Dagger number 5 on the weapon swap, and if you unmerge with your Hawk, you have this lacerating slash applying 4 more stacks. So yeah, don't worry, trust me, you're just gonna be applying conditions constantly. So yeah. As for the gear, I'm gonna leave a link in the description below because this is a very similar setup that I have already shown in other videos, so you can just pick it up there. For the talents, yet again very similar, but I'm gonna go over them really quickly. In the Soulbeast department, I like Leaf Pass personally because I like the damage the Fury gives me and the quickness, especially the quickness, I like it a lot. But you could perfectly go Unstoppable Union to have a little bit more of movement impeding removal conditions. Then, of course, Predator Scanning, that's a no-brainer because we're gonna be applying so much poison that this is gonna heal for a ton. And then, of course, Eternal Bones, so we can swap when merged. While not a survival, in my opinion, it's a secondary mandatory trade line for this build. You can choose Lesser Muddy Terrain if you want to, there's nothing wrong with it. I like Oak herself to have a little bit of extra damage reduction, and since we have some healing power in the build, the regen is quite nice. Ambidexterity is gonna be permanently up because we're running 1 dagger in every single hand, so yeah, nice chunk of damage, plus it really helps because the daggers are super strong when it comes to killing targets if you were to miss the combo. Then of course Poison Master for, you know, just more poison and more damage. The other 2 don't really make sense in this build. And for the third selection of talents, if you will, this is where you can choose to go skirmishing if you want to, for just, it's basically stronger blades and more damage. It's basically translates into less survivability, more damage. I, however, like to go for Nature's Magic because, well, guess what? 1 more source of regeneration, which means every time we heal, we're gonna have regen and we're gonna have reduced damage. So it really works. It really works well. Then we are gonna choose Evasive Purity because we are not running the empathic bond in Wilderness Survival, we're gonna be lacking on condition cleanse otherwise. It's just not enough even with burst stance. And for the final choice here, I just like invigorating bond. It's just nice source of vigor, so we can keep dodge rolling and healing and cleansing conditions. It really helps with our survivability, plus big protection for 5 seconds. So yeah, that's the talent selection. When it comes to the skills, you can already see the burst stance here, really strong heal. You know I like it. It consumes conditions and heals us from them. Dolly extends, of course. I don't play the Soulbeast without this. I think this is just mandatory. Massive chunk of stability, Condi removal and stun break all in one button. It's just too good and strong to pass on. Sharpening stones and bolter stuns. This is basically our build or combo enabler. Even if we don't hit it with Hunter's Call, it procs with the Primal Cry. It procs by just hitting stuff. So yeah, this is your most important damage source, and also you get some healing from bolter stance thanks to Predator scanning. Then for the ultimate, one might think that the obvious choice was to go for Entangle, which is not wrong. You can absolutely play with it. However, I decided to listen to one of my most wise viewers, and I gave Strength of the Pack a go. It just feels amazing. One of the reasons why it feels so good is because I was struggling to find a balance with mobility and stun breaks on this build, and Strength of the Pack just gives me that extra push thanks to the stability and the swiftness. All of these guys bring me to my next point, which is the pet that we cannot switch no matter what version of the build we are playing. This time the Alpine Wolf is going to be mandatory, and the reason being is, well, in this build we're running only one source of stun and root break every 30 seconds. Sure, Strength of the Pack is giving us stability, but if we get Seed and we don't have Dolyak, yeah, we're gonna be in trouble. So, having Unflinching Fortitude, which is not only an extra source of stun and root break, it's also anti-damage for 4 seconds, that is just the right tool for this build, plus extra mobility, a nice knockdown for 2 seconds, and on top of that, when we are not merged, it's an AoE chill, which is very useful to space your opponents. So yeah, that is why that pet is absolutely mandatory. Alrighty folks, now that we have explained all of that, it's time to move on to the other version of the build, which is probably my favorite and more consistent one. We're just gonna be replacing the Hawk for the strongest condition pet, which is the ibolga. And now we have lost our main source of mobility, so what we do is just swap out Relic of the Fractal for Relic of the Wayfinder. Now, this means that when it comes to the combo, right, we're gonna be doing around 9 to 10% less damage. I tested this, and the reason is, well, because we are not gonna be applying Burning and Torment thanks to Relic of the Fractal. However, the Ibolga pet makes up for this by far, no questions asked. The reason being is, well, a couple of reasons. Number one, we gain access to Confusion, which is super important condition to deal with certain types of matchups, and arguably one of the strongest, if not the strongest. And to top it off, we gain access to an extra super long CC, as in a pull right here. There you go, really strong. And now, third and really important for this build, with the Ibolga, we gain access to a field, a combo field area, which is called Ethereal. You'll see this little pink thing right here in the ground, and when we combo it, we gain Chaos Aura. This is gonna give ourselves some random boons and apply random conditions on the opponent. All of this combined makes up for the loss of Relic of the Fractal, no questions asked, hands down. Plus, not only that, when you are not merged, the Ibolga is also going to be applying that field. Let's see if we can show it right there. It shouldn't take too long. There you go. See? So you do this, boom. You can also proc it with Call of the Wild. You can proc it with any combo finisher, basically. Yep. Like, it's a super strong pet. When you're not merged, it's gonna be dealing tons of damage. You have a CC on demand, and when you are merged, you have confusion on demand. So yeah, that is why this is my favorite version of the two, and also the strongest in my opinion. So, having said all of this, I don't think I have left anything, and if I did, make sure to ask me in the comments. But for now, I'm just gonna leave you with a cool compilation as always. Apologies for the longer video, I'll make sure to leave some timestamps in the description. But I'm having so much fun with this build that I have just so many clips, and to be fair, I have already eliminated a lot of them. So anyways, I hope you guys like it, and see you soon. Not gonna lie, he had us in the ropes for a while now. However, you can see how much sustain we got through the poison appliance, and yep, this is a good clip to showcase the survivability of the build. And now you're about to see the AoE combo with Primal Cry, Sharpening Stones and Bolter Stance, and take a look at how much that's also healing us. This is also a pretty hard matchup because shouting Reapers are always tough and you want to space your buttons as best as you can. Here you're about to see how I wait for the first big CC to swap bed and do Unflinching Fortitude, so we stop taking damage and we cleanse out of it, right here. I know that the big spin is coming, he's gonna try to kill us with that, but this is why we saved our heal until now, so we can cleanse those conditions and keep healing from that. And from there, it's just about survive a few more seconds, use our elite skill for the stab, and now we guarantee with a few evades that we can start applying some counter damage. You can see in action the power of the sustain of this build right here once again. Even though it was a close call, the plan was more or less executed properly. We dropped a little bit lower than we would have liked, but yeah, this is how you play against them. these next two clips, I'm fighting a different spec of Guardians. We'll see a perfect example of how, even though we miss the combo, so to speak, with the Warhorn number 4, or they block it, or sometimes even they just insta-cleanse whatever we throw at them, the build is still applying so much pressure, and it's still good, not just for the meme combo, but, you know, in general. Also, it is quite funny that I haven't encountered many wheel benders, if any at all, because I usually find a lot of them and there's always one or two in my videos, but for some reason I didn't find any. However, I don't think they would be a problem at all, because we have so many evade windows and the anti-damage from our Alpine Wolf. So yeah, you might not see one in this video, but trust me, you'll be fine. Alrighty everyone, I think this is gonna be the last clip of the video, and also a good way to send it off, because, well, we managed to get a good bird combo here, plus finish the guy and then escape from all his allies. So yeah, quite a nice one. Anyways, I hope you liked it. I swear to God, I had many more clips, like I had worth of another 15 minutes easily of clips, but I decided to not make the video any longer, and instead I will be working on a part 2, because I'm simply having so much fun with this, and hopefully for part 2 we find some wheel benders too. Yeah, that's about it guys. Once again, I hope you liked it, and see you in the next one. Cheers!